He's not.
Okay.
Have friendships.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that, so there's an entire cohort. That's a good thing for, let's see how that translates.
See, I don't do much residential for the county.
Well.
Not even use mics.
For the camera, otherwise we would.
Yeah.
We have had nothing stairs as we get sound, but we have fun now. But you do want us to use them. Yes.
For that. Important.
Kevin, are you doing anything?
This one's going if you want to start. I'm just trying to get your phone to connect to my iPad.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start. Most of you were here before, and we'll follow the same format. I do know, I was told, Dan Davenport told me many weeks ago that I believe he's on a trip or something. I don't remember because I wanted to go with him. I really want to go with Fred. He's in Portugal. Oh, yeah, I'm not happy about that. I told him to take me and he didn't. And I heard from Chad about 4:30 today that he was out of town. Okay. Hopefully they have answered questions on their vote 411. I do believe everybody in the valley did. Please go in and at least read them. Yes. Okay, we'll start 2 minutes and we'll start with which side do I want? Okay.
I'll give you that 30 seconds.
You know about these guys.
Sure.
Okay.
Except, can you jump up and down and really wave them?
Oh,
I
really?
always go over. Lawyers pay by the word. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kay Hoagland, and I'm running from District 3, which is basically Wolf Creek and environs. And I'm really honored to be a candidate, especially seeing all the other candidates and their performance here. It's just enchanting and endearing. I do want to mention the other candidate, Fred. Fred Blickley is the other District 3 candidate, and he sends his regards, and I picked these up for him today. And I do that simply because, to illustrate, we've got great working relationships with the candidates, with each other, even when we're running against each other, as Chelsea has said. But in any event, a bit about myself. I'm an Ogden girl, 2 generations Wall Avenue. I was not born in the valley, but my grandparents and mom had a house, my mom grew up in a house on Wall. They were Dutch immigrants, of which I'm very proud. I'm 100% Dutch. Went to Ogden High, University of Utah, went out of state for law school, worked as a lawyer in Chicago, and then stepped off the career path, jumped off the ladder and raised my sons. And that was the hardest job I ever had. We have been coming to Ogden, coming to the Valley at every year of my existence. The Valley is very much in my heart. I'm running because when I was encouraging other people to run as part of the transition team, I realized it's going to take incredible time. It's a steep learning curve, and I realized, oh gosh, I've been doing that. So I'm here to finish the cycle that I started with volunteering for a corporation 2 years ago.
Hi, my name is Laura Warburton. Nice to see you all came out. Hi to those that aren't here. We're grateful that you would even tune in. So I've lived here for 25 years, almost 25 years, raised my kids here, buried my daughter here, and I call this home. And I will call it home until the day I die. Mostly because my husband has a man cave now that he refuses to leave. And if you saw it, all the men in the room would go, oh, that's so cool. And all the women go, what a waste. Pretty much how that works. So the reason why I'm running is because I was against the incorporation. And that has been used against me. Okay. But I also knew what was coming. And I was right. And now I want to help to make sure that our kids can live here, that there's affordable housing, that we can make this place and keep this place feeling like it's unincorporated, even though it's a city, even though we have city mandates. We can do this. We can do this. I am capable. I have a lot of experience when it comes to public policy. I have a lot of experience with nonprofit. I have a lot of experience doing stuff. I love this man right here.
Wow.
I think he's wonderful. And when he says, pick somebody that has time, well, I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's good to pick people that are so busy that you know they're going to get things done. That's me. I am very busy. I have my own business. I have 2 offices. I've got a nonprofit. I work with the state on many different levels with suicide prevention. I am busy. I know how to get things done. Thank you. I'm Laura Warburton, District 4.
Hey everyone, I'm Don Hickman. 4.5 months ago, this was the last thing that I was thinking about. I was gonna go fly fishing and backpacking and all kinds of stuff this summer. My wife and I were sitting at the table. We said, you know what? We're not convinced that this thing's gonna work right. And it might end up being a hot mess. And my wife and I thought, well, throw your name in the hat, Don, because you've got a lot of experience doing this stuff. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in the Rocky Mountain West. My cousins still farm in Cortez, Colorado. My brother-in-law raises regenerative farmed beef in Northern California. I had an 1.5-hour bus ride to high school each day. I am country. Stacy and I did 25 years, 14 moves, 7 states in the country of Germany and the Air Force, so protecting our nation. And when I decided to retire in 2012 from Hill Air Force Base, I thought we're moving back to Alaska, and she said, no, we're staying in Utah. And I'll say, I'll do that on one condition: we live in Huntsville. And so we moved out here, we raised our family out here, and we fell in love with this place. Over the course of the last 4 months, I've met hundreds of people. Most of them are the women who look at me when I ask the question, what are you worried about and how can I help you? And they say, I'm worried about the loss of our cherished lifestyle. I'm worried about our water going away. I'm worried that our kids aren't going to be able to live here. And I want a city that is transparent and works for us on day one. I said, well, that's important. And so those of you who are following me on Facebook know that I speak to this often on some policy positions and what to do. And we're going to talk about who we are because we're going to answer all these questions. But at the end of the day, you've got to elect people who can create a transparent, functioning city government, because whether or not you support it or not, we have to do it, or we're going to have a train wreck in 2 months.
Okay, we'll start with Laura.
Amen.
We're going to make sure you can hear me. Okay, well, we're going to repeat this one question. Most of them are not repeated, but tell us what you've been involved in that would help you to be a part of this transition. Committees, things that you've worked on.
1 minute.
And we're 1 minute, yeah.
1 minute. Okay, so I was on the Planning Commission for 8 years and in the Board of Adjustments for another 6 years. I'm back on the Planning Commission. Again, I was the first woman chair. Yeah. And it was hard. I mean, I got pushback. Did I not, Ron? Go ahead and tell the people. Okay, he's not good. He's grinning at me. Okay, so I've had a lot of public policy. I've passed so many bills. I've got great relationships down at the Capitol. I've got great relationships, truly great relationships with the county. They're not all bad people. They've been made to appear bad. Did you put up stop yet?
I did.
Okay. I have good relationships with the county folks, and we can get that money that we need if the right people are in office. I don't know what else to say except that is true. Okay, that's it.
Goes to Don.
Repeat the question.
What kind of activities, what activities have you been a part of that will make you qualified to be able to
Got it.
be above?
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jerry. Okay. 38 years of professional experience. I've managed multi-million-dollar contracts, budgets between $5,000 and literally $10 billion. I've hired and fired hundreds of people. I've led 3,400 people in my largest job. All those skill sets. I've been multiple boards of directors, nonprofits, Ogden Valley Adaptive Sports, Ogden Nature Center. I was the soccer coach for Ogden Soccer. I was a referee with Craig back there. what have I done since I decided to throw my name in the hat? I jumped in and helped Janet's team looking at the zoning and the ordinances. And for the last 2 months, I've been part and parcel with the public works team. We literally are figuring out how we're going to do roads and snow plows, trash. I'm part and parcel to hiring Sheriff Arvon to come be our law enforcement, to not leave but stay here. And with Kay, I'm part and parcel to finance and admin, figuring out our budgets, who we're going to bank with, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm knee deep in this stuff right now.
Thanks. My first 30 seconds, I'll talk about my background that makes me suitable for this job. I've been a lawyer for 40 years, and that was in big law firms and big corporations, going toe to toe with judges and occasionally with the CEOs, but I've represented all sizes and types of clients. I also managed $1 million budgets and supervised large staffs. Spoke with everyone from the supervisor on the shop floor to the board of directors at Motorola. So what have I done with the corporation? I showed up as a volunteer 2 years ago. And I did everything from running mics around meetings to then being the volunteer head of the petition drive. We knocked the numbers out of the park, the chair of the campaign, and finally, an active member of the transition team running finance, and thank you very much.
Do not hesitate to beat her.
Meetings will continue until morale improves.
No, Your Honor, please. Okay. Am I first now?
Oh, me?
I am.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, the question is, in your opinion, will taxes have to be increased in the
You're
valley?
not even starting with softball. Straight to hardball. In my opinion, will taxes have to be increased? We don't even know how much it's going to cost yet to run this city. I am the only Dave Ramsey trained financial coach in this valley. 2 of my former students are right back there. Until we know what it's going to cost, we don't know whether or not we're going to have to raise taxes. I joined the finance and admin team specifically and deliberately to make sure we understand and cost out everything from roads, snowplows, lawyers, yada, 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 everything we're doing. 30 seconds left. What happens if it adds up to $4.5 million and our revenue comes in at $4.3 million? Then we have some hard discussions, folks. Do we reduce services or do we raise taxes? I will not promise to not raise taxes because that is disingenuous. I will promise to do my darndest to reduce costs.
Can you repeat the question?
In your opinion, will taxes have to be increased?
In my opinion, they will not have to be increased, but it should be something. If we do not have the revenue to cover what the people want for services, we will have to consider. But I mentioned my Dutch heritage. If you want a penny pinched, go talk to a Dutchman. No, when I was in corporate life doing big budgets, I was always the person who came in under and saved the other departments who were going over. I spent a lot of time working on and understanding the feasibility study. What people do not understand is there are other funds that were not by law included in that feasibility study. And so I think we have a very good chance of operating in the black. Maybe a couple of years it will take, but we can get there. If not, we'll figure it out. Thanks.
Hi, this is a tough question. I think both are correct. I agree with everything that's been said here. We don't know. The numbers I've seen that have been provided and reported by some very, very intelligent people that happen to be in this room warned us for a long time that the feasibility study was not accurate, and it was not. Does that mean we're necessarily going to have to raise taxes? I don't know. Does that mean that we have to have lower services? I don't know. That will have to be determined. That's probably the hardest thing I have in this whole situation, is the reality of that. And that some people that are wanting to stay here and wanting it to stay country may just be priced out of their homes. And that breaks my heart. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I do know that I've got to stop it.
Oh, never mind. It has been discussed that there's animosity between Ogden Valley leaders and Utah Valley. Do you see that as a true statement? And if so, name one thing. Okay, I said that wrong.
Start over.
It has been discussed that there is animosity between Ogden Valley and the county leaders. Do you see that as a true statement? And if so, name one thing that you would do to remediate that.
Yes, there has been some animosity, but each side is capable of making amends. And my approach is, if we treat each other professionally and respectfully, as I did for years of litigating cases and also then learning how to resolve disputes, I think we will all be just fine. I think it is to be expected that there should be some sensitivities after the kid, meaning the valley, has decided to fly the coop and try its own wings. We would be naive if we thought that all engendered wonderful and warm feelings. By the same token, I think that engaging in litigation against the commissioners, especially if one is hoping to run for office, really sets the bar high in terms of the bridges we will have to mend.
Okay, so this is a tough one. I'm not here to speak on behalf of the county, but I have a really good relationship with all of them. Worked with them for years. And I've also watched as some people in our community who are now running for office have been called out several times. And it caused great consternation for the planning department. There's been a lot of problems. So it's an issue, and respectfully, it's not because we're leaving. It's because of the hurt feelings, because of the name calling, because of the many emails that have been sent that have been so brutal and accusatory. So what we need to do is drop the lawsuits. We need to behave, and we need to act like we want to work with them. And they will want to work with us. They want to work with us. But right now, and it's on, I got to finish this, so hold on. It was right on, it was on video, and so I'm not making this up, but there's one office that wants to work with us.
Thank you.
Ask the people who have the issues with the county. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm a colonel retired in the Air Force. I had to face down Marine colonels and Navy captains to get stuff done in the Pentagon, and that was knocked down, drag out. But at the end of the day, we got stuff done, and we went and got a beer or a Diet Coke together. I'm a guy who builds bridges, who walks in and says, how do we find a win-win? How do we get what we need done? I'm not encumbered with any of the BS that has been done over the last 3 years. And yes, I said that. I said it deliberately because I think it's silly. It's childlike. But ask them, those who did it. I have very good relationships with commissioners. I have very good relationship with the fire chief, with the sheriff, with employees down there. And let's get the election done. So those of us who make it through the election can walk down there and get what we need done for our new city.
Okay, you're right.
Okay. All right. Heavy equipment has to come in and out of the valley. Land use planning can help mitigate some of this traffic. Name a strategy you see that would help alleviate destroyed and damaged roads from the equipment coming in.
Oh, that's a great question. First of all, I applaud that the Ogden Valley 12th Street Canyon has been limited to shorter vehicles. I think that was beautiful. That needed to happen. I think the same thing needs to happen on Ogden Divide. I think Ogden Divide's just barely in the last 5-6 years been developed enough that it's safe. So I think that means everybody goes over trappers. And that's just what we have to say. Now that's a problem too, but it's also the state road, so that's good for us.
Great question. It sucks with dump trucks and everything going on in our valley right now. My number one was 6 stops between where I live in 9500 by the old monastery and Valley Market. It's insanity here. Let's manage expectations. The state controls Highway 39 and state roads. We don't control those. We won't control those. So what happens in those is a state thing. Now we, the city, will have influence. We'll call them up and say, hey, let's change things. This is not working for us. How do we manage the effect on our roads, the 100-odd miles we're going to get? Well, new construction is going to require impact fees that we will collect to fix the roads that they break. So we need to make sure we collect the impact fees and do that. Can we by law say thou shalt not drive a dump truck longer than 50 feet? I don't know. Maybe we can. I don't know. We can consider some of that stuff. But what we will do for the roads we control is require the impact fees to be paid to fix them after they're broken.
Laura just told me that was the right answer, so I will adopt that answer. I was going to talk about impact fees. There's also something called accessions that we can extract from builders that will help improve the roads. But I have another idea, not new, I'm sure we all share it. Now that we are incorporated, we will have that famous seat at the table that we did not have before. I didn't fully realize what that meant until last week I went to the annual convention of the League of Cities and Towns and saw UDOT making a presentation, training, asking where they can help. And they were just one of many other services that are available that want to work with our valley, and now we can take advantage of our proud voices and do that.
How do you feel about, I better turn this one. How do you feel about conditional use permits? What's your opinion?
How do I feel about conditional use permits? Those of you who were here for the previous forum, I echo what several people said, particularly Janet Wampler. I'm a fan of an ordinance that says this is the way it is, and there's not a lot of exceptions to that rule. So let's create a regime of city ordinances, our laws, that make it absolutely black and white, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and exceptions ought to be truly the exceptional thing. I'm not going to say zero conditional use, but there may be some good reasons for some of them. What the citizens need to realize is there are hundreds, if not thousands, of pages of ordinances that Weber County has right now that we are going through. And this Herculean task has to be done by whoever gets selected with help from the Planning Commission, or we're not going to get this done right.
Thank you. I don't know if many of you had a chance to attend the lectures at the library last year leading up to incorporation. One of them was about land use planning. Brilliant attorney presenting there, had been the city attorney for a number of municipalities, and as she said, she pointed out the distinction between zoning decisions and the administrative decisions that need to be made when conditional use permits are considered. I'm against conditional use permits. I'm for eliminating them as much as possible because, as I learned last year, those are administrative decisions. If all the boxes are checked, the city council has no choice but to approve that conditional use. Zoning by contrast is entirely within the discretion And it's very hard to attack legally, so I'd be in favor of eliminating the conditional uses where we can.
Okay, conditional uses are part of planning, and conditional use just means that you can set parameters in to mitigate any detrimental effects. I don't like conditional uses, but they're a part of the code. So like, for example, it could be allowed that you can have a dog run in your house and raise 10 dogs, okay? But now it's conditional use, so your neighbors come and say, no, we don't want that, we don't want that. And what happens is that because the citizens think that it's conditional, that they can come in and say no, which is not true. That's where we get in trouble. So then the planning commission goes, well, we just don't want to have that, and that doesn't work either. So what people have to do is make the planning completely 100% more, and I say 100% more, and I know better than that. I'd like to say, yes, make it black and white, yes, just get it right there, but planning is tough. And so that's going to be a huge part of how we can create our valley. And so, yes, less conditional uses.
All right, question sort of along the same lines. Do you believe zoning should be changed? And if so, how would you determine what would need to be changed?
Okay, this really ties into uses of TDRs. And what I would like to see is strict limitation of and definition by statute of those areas that can give TDRs and those that can receive them. The problem with the TDR code that was done by Weber County is it really wasn't done. TDRs are in the general plan, but there was never a comprehensive system laid down by code on how to use them. I also think that our zoning should be sustained where it gives us a really smart and capable opportunity of managing short-term rentals. If we do have STRs, I think we should find ways to let seniors do so on a limited basis to help with taxes.
Okay, so first of all, we have to have a good general plan, and we've got a great general plan, and they want to, by state law, we can open that up about every 10 years, and we're getting to that point, okay? So the last general plan has my signature on it, and I think it's wonderful, so that's the first thing you have to have. The second thing, we've got to make laws based on that, and that's what zoning is laws. So I would get rid of TDRs until we can do it right. I would sweep over the entire code except for TDRs, and I would take out form-based, thank you, take out form-based, that is just rude, form-based zoning until we can relook at that as well. I think there's a place for it, I just think we need to rethink about where and how. So that's what I would do.
I'm gonna wait for the bills. Is that okay?
That'd be great. Did you do it 8 times?
I have no idea. My first time sitting in this audience.
So,
There we go. The question was what?
Do you believe that zoning should be changed? And how would you determine if the need?
Do I believe zoning should be changed, and how would I determine that? I seek to represent District 5. I do not believe there should be any change to the zoning in District 5, with the only maybe exception is we actually have a trailer park zone in District 5 over Chris's, and I'm not sure that we want trailer parks, but that's the only one that I would consider changing. So no change to zoning in District 5. I don't think we should carry over DRR or form-based. I would get rid of those, which speaks to what my colleagues have been talking about, TDRs, transferable development rights. I think we get rid of those zones. Those don't exist in District 5. So I would defer to my colleagues elsewhere on what they think about those. But as I seek to represent District 5, I see no reason to change the zoning in District 5. Who's first on the next one? You're up.
I'm down. I'm really down.
Bravo. Bravo.
Okay, most of the questions have been focused at the city level. How would a council person, member, get an idea or a topic addressed that's specific to just their district?
Well, okay, so this is interesting because District 4, it has Eden Crossing in it. And of course, that's the biggest reason why we're incorporated right now. Because I'll tell you what, education. So much heartache and angst could have been avoided over all of that if people had just been educated and not propagandized about what was happening. So, there you go.
No, that's not you. We got 30 seconds.
No, I'm done.
Oh,
You want to, all right, let's end it again.
I want to know,
I'm next, but you know,
I have ended before the 30 seconds.
Good.
Why?
you have,
Yes, I have.
you're 16th.
Unbelievably odd. I have words against.
How would I bring something to council? Yes? It represented my district. So 25 years in the Air Force, colonel in the Air Force and the Pentagon. I know how to bring legislation to the Congress. We develop it, we work with the congressman, we bring it to Congress, it's passed or not. I've done that. I've served on 5 different boards of directors. I know how to work with my fellow board members on agendas for the board. So let's say we want a different committee for agriculture specific to District 5. I would work with my 4 peers on council and say, this is an issue that I wish to bring to council to a vote or at least to a discussion. If I need to compromise on something I want, I'll certainly compromise. And that's how we get things in the legislative body, which is called the city council, in front of the council to make decisions. It's the relationships we build between the 5 city council people and the 1 mayor.
Ditto, yeah, so much turns on relationships. I'll approach it from a process point of view. My first step in this process would be listening to the district. What are the issues that really need to be brought to the entire council? The next part of the process is having worked collaboratively with the other council members and the mayor and building that local district time into the routine agenda that the council pursues under the leadership of the mayor. So if in fact my district, our district, or any other district has unique issues that they need to bring in, there is reserved time on every agenda to raise that and start working that.
Is it good to me?
She gets to go.
We're very bad.
Who was first? You were first. Was I first?
yes.
My bad.
No.
No?
I think it works.
Okay, you guys keep track.
Okay.
It's late.
Thank you.
Well, that's right, because you were done at 30 seconds.
All right, this is gonna sound like a familiar question, but do you support term limits for mayor and council, and why?
It was interesting listening to our colleagues earlier get confused about term limits versus the limit of their term in office. So District 5 term in office is 2 years, then 4 years. I see no reason to have term limits, meaning you can only serve 2 terms or 3 terms or 4 terms. I believe fundamentally in democracy. If you don't like what I do, if you will let me in and I run again, don't vote for me. That's the way to do it. Let's not create some artificial system where I could only run for 2 terms. I think that's foolish both for city council and for the mayor. We've chosen a local form of government. Let's exercise this wonderful birthing of a city. 50% of District 5 didn't want this thing. And I say to my colleagues, not by our hand, but in our lap, now let's be responsible. And if I don't serve District 5 well, don't vote for me next time.
So I would pose term limits. For one thing, in this current posture, we have some seats that only have 2-year periods before they roll over and resume a 4-year normal cycle. I think it takes time to learn the ropes. It takes time to learn what's critical for the new city. And that is even more sensitive as a startup city where we are now. One other thing I want to mention though, we talk about the rich resources in the valley, the natural beauty, the snow, all the other things we all enjoy. Volunteering for incorporation taught me one of the most precious resources we have is we have incredibly gifted people in this valley. And so I hope we will continue to get rich involvement like the candidates here.
Amen.
She's next. She starts.
People often speak of being ethical and transparent. Why would we believe that that would apply to you?
Okay, let's start with a little bit of background here. I took the bar here in 21, actually to serve pro bono in this community. But my whole career has been bound by strict ethics, and we take them seriously, especially in law firms that I practice and companies that I practice, where one of the mottos was uncompromising integrity. I did my fair share of investigating high-level people accused of ethical violations and all the way down to Salesforce. And so I know the negative impact that unethical behavior has on an organization. Another reason, I'm the only candidate who, when they declared candidacy, declared, I do have a potential conflict of interest. I've been serving as the president of Wolf Creek Master Association. To resolve that, I've just resigned from that position.
She just needs to learn to speak faster.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. Anyone in this room or anybody watching can say that I'm not honest, step up. I'm one of the most honest people you could ever meet. Doesn't mean I always tell you everything that's on my mind. Be grateful for that. Okay? But I am ethical because at the end of the day, I don't answer to anybody else but my higher being. And I've been doing that for a very long time, and that's really important to me. Honesty, I always want to educate. That is all I ever want to do, is to get people to understand what's happening and how they can best be powerful. And you can only do that if you understand the system. So, thank you.
In 1983, I entered the Air Force Academy as a basic cadet, and I swore an oath that I would not lie, steal, cheat, or tolerate those who do. I have lived by that oath since I was 18 years old. You, the citizens, have no reason to believe me other than by my actions. So measure me by my actions, measure me by my words. If I misrepresent something, I will come to you and say, I blew it on that one. I will tell you the right answer. In fact, there's a famous story between Ellie Crozer and I early in this campaign where I went to her and said, Ellie, I totally screwed up that answer. Here's the right answer. I did report a conflict of interest on my form. I own a business here. And by definition, when we vote for the permitting process of businesses, I will have a conflict of interest. And if my council peers say, recuse yourself, I will. Who's next? Where are you? I don't know where we are.
Okay. I'm next.
You're next. Okay.
No, okay.
Okay.
Pay attention to these people out here.
Okay. What specific?
She started the other.
Started, okay.
So it goes to.
Okay, you're fired.
All right. What specific experience have you had with planning and managing a budget?
I'm gone. I have 2 businesses. I've got a nonprofit. There we go. I want to say something in the last question really quick too. One of my heartbreaks on this was that I tried to bring people together to resolve the angst that was going on around Eden Crossing. I brought people together. I tried to do that. I didn't do a very good job because it didn't work. But that's what I want to do. I want people to come together and compromise. That's who I am. So with budgets, I don't like to spend money. So I'm pretty frugal. And that's the best I can do. He's way more. I mean, this guy's got the budget thing down, right? That's not my thing. My thing is planning. So, thank you.
Well, with that, I should just sit down, but thank you. I am Dave Ramsey, coach. I'm the only one in the valley. I teach people how to live on a budget professionally. Professionally, I have managed budgets from $5,000 to $10 billion a year in the federal government, in nonprofit, and private industry. So I've got a lot of budgeting experience. The geek side of budgeting. The important side of budgeting, I'll just borrow from Laura, is I'm pretty frugal. At the end of the day, we're going to find out between now and December how much it's going to cost to run the city. And we're going to have to make hard decisions. Are we going to cut here? How much snow plowing are we going to pay for? How much attorney are we going to pay for? And that number will equal something, and then we'll figure out the revenue side. But I'm pretty hard ass when it comes to not spending money.
Okay, you can buy lunch tomorrow and
It doesn't matter.
It's not going to be Mad News, it'll be Valley Market hot food.
now my time can start. As I mentioned, I'm Dutch, and so we by nature are frugal. I grew up in a household where we lived paycheck to paycheck. I marvel at how my mom and dad did it. So it's just in my nature. I have managed many budgets, many large budgets. I enjoy managing budgets and have been successful at that. On another level though, I have excelled at classes and practices in corporate finance. I understand the financial level and the financial aspects of things we may have to do as a county to get started. Gap financing, just to finance the city when we have no income when we first start out. So I'm very confident that we'll have some smart budget management, hopefully with my help.
Is it mean?
No, you don't.
It's me.
Unfortunately, we can't count.
Well, I
He can. And Janet,
But counting isn't what we need, it's remembering is our problem.
oh, then we're all in trouble.
If elected, basic services need to be in place. How has that been addressed? And what if they're not ready to go?
That extra sentence or part to it is fun. So I'm on the Public Works team. The candidates is splintered, so I'm Public Works. So I'm literally writing with Kay and others the RFP that's going to go out this week for snow plowing and roads. We prepared the one for Sheriff Arbonne. Trash, we think we figured out. Services, what else? I have no idea about animal control. Earlier, it's down here somewhere. But the point is, the candidates with the awesome people from the transition team are literally going soup to nuts through everything we think we have to have. We have a prioritized list, number 1 priority, number 2 priority, number 3 priority, with a to-do list to get it all done. We will get it all done. What are we going to do if we don't? We're going to run around and squawk like chickens. I'm joking, everybody out there. That failure is not an option. So we're not going to fail. We're going to have snow plowing, we're going to have trash, we're going to have sheriffs. Whether or not they have an attorney, I don't know. That's up to Kate. Say whether I'm going to. I'm joking on me.
Thank you. First of all, what we do today will determine whether or not we have unavailability of services at some point. And planning is everything. For a year and a half, this transition team, kickstarted by Nick Dahlkamp, another brilliant engineer and a sponsor and project manager, has been identifying exactly step-by-step the services we need, the steps we need to take to start the city up. Then the whole transition team has been working on that for, I'd say about 10 months. It feels like years, but we've been working on it. So we have plans not only to have our primary approach of working with the county, but also plans B and C if for some reason that doesn't fall through. There are services where there's a basic level we will get regardless of the paper that is signed, things like sheriff. And I thank you very much.
Okay, moment of transparency. I have not been involved in the 12 candidate meetings. In the very beginning, I noticed that there was so much angst towards me from some of the members that I became the topic. I became the focus. And so I decided to remove myself from that so that they could get on with their work. I offered to help where I could. They haven't called. Well, they did. Actually did put me on one committee, and we did what we could on that, and it's stopped for now. But that's my moment of transparency, and I am more than capable of getting good ready and getting things going, but I do not want to be a distraction. So, thank you.
I started that one, right? I did. So it goes to Ken.
Raise your hand.
Okay.
No, is it going to her?
It's okay.
Yes.
Not good.
What is one specific thing you will do to learn what's on the mind of the residents?
Learn what's on the mind of the residents. Well, I am a proponent of talking face to face and being out there in the community, which I plan to do. Another programmatic thing I would like to do is have the council meet, assuming we can carry off the IT complications, but have them do some meetings in different parts of the valley. So we will hear from different constituents. And finally, we have been working as a committee of candidates on a great vision statement, which includes a lot of ideas about how to hear the voice of the community and the voice of the residents. I am wholeheartedly supporting that effort, but I would also like to see a very well done survey that we periodically use to listen to what the residents want.
Okay, I'm all about communication. I've got Facebook pages, I've got emails, I put my personal phone number on Facebook for crying out loud. I'm about being communicated with, I'm all about it. In the form of a city, I think an email needs to go out. I think that all of our information needs to be out there. When we first started the candidacy, I said, let's put our emails out there and let's be transparent. And I got a lot of pushback for that. I have since decided that it doesn't matter what they all thought, and I put them out there anyway. So I wanted people to be able to communicate. Very important. Where am I at there, sister?
50 seconds.
Okay, 28 seconds, 27, 26?
Yeah.
That's it. I think that it's really easy to be open and transparent and communicate and do classes too. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's have classes on planning and classes on, thank you.
How can I help you? I have asked hundreds of people in District 5 that simple phrase, simple question. I'm going to keep asking that question. I learned this lesson years ago as a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, as I watched my boss walk the halls of the Pentagon, and he would walk in, these very senior people, and say, how can I help you? And they'd be blown away that somebody would walk in and say, how can I help you? So I'm going to keep asking the citizens of District 5, how can I help you? Now, how do we do that? Facebook, emails, all that. I think if I can figure out how to do it, I would love to have a monthly, how can I help you, meeting wherever, the library. It's pretty simple to do. I think the city should have a function on its IT platform where, how can I help you? And Ron Gleason writes, here's how you can help. I think that's how we reach out to the citizens and give them a voice. It's one of us.
I don't know.
Laura starts. Name a strategy that you would like to implement to enhance the mental health and well-being of your residents.
Can I just have a moment to think about that? Okay. Everybody has the same moment to think.
Can you restate the question for us too?
Wow, you would think.
Terry, will you restate the question?
Sure. If I could talk, name a strategy that you would like to implement that would enhance the mental health and the well-being of your residents.
Okay, so I'm a master trainer with QPR, which is a strategy to teach citizens how to spot suicide prevention and how to act when they see that. I also passed the Safe UT bill, and Hannah and I are a big reason why 988 was passed in the country. So I would create community QPR classes. I would love to see that. I would make sure that all the leaders were QPR trained. I would make sure that we could have a youth council, so they could have a voice in the community. I think that's good. That would be a great place to start.
I honor and treasure Laura's personal journey. I've had a similar experience. So thank you for suggesting in that domain what to do. I'm the vice chair now of Ogden Valley Adaptive Sports. I'm a coach with the U.S. Paralympic cross country ski team. I'm an instructor at Ogden North. Getting outside is essential to people's health and wellness. I was the executive director and on the board of Ogden Nature Center for 10 plus years. Getting people outside improves their overall health and wellness. So what I would love to do is come up with ways where our city can encourage the residents of this beautiful valley to participate in everything that we have to offer outside, the recreational opportunities, go out and meet one of the chickens, or go out and meet the cows. Those are the sorts of things that bring real health and wellness, tangible health and wellness, and are fun.
Yeah, I totally support these ideas, getting out, moving, sports, as powerful as any treatment you get from a doctor or a drugstore. For myself personally, I am passionate about seniors, and we have a senior population. The average age in District 3 is 62. Those are kids. So understanding, how critical that is in the district, but also for the well-being of our community. I would love a program where we bring seniors together with the youth, whether that is embedding programs in the school or looking at planning opportunities where you can intentionally locate senior housing. As we all get older, we may be having to look at that in any youthful and mixed community.
Thank you. That was your last question, now that we're all mentally healthy. A minute and a half to tell us why any of us should vote for you.
Wow. I'll go first, since I have the mic. I wasn't going to be a candidate on the 1st of May, and here we are on the 15th of October, and I'm a candidate. I am passionate about the next 2 years. If we don't do this right in the next 2 years, we face the opportunity for a train wreck. This isn't about running a functioning city. This is about the county commissioners going, "You got it, kids, take it for a drive," and we don't even know how to drive yet. We're learning. We're in learning class. If we don't hire, if we don't elect the right people on the 4th of November, we run the risk of a train wreck and becoming the laughingstock of Utah. Let's not let that happen. I've got 38 years of experience leading, managing, budgeting, hiring, firing, you name it, when it comes to all those contracting things that need to be done. I've got the temperament to be a functioning, contributing member of city council, working with my 4 peers and working with the mayor to get things done. We don't have to love each other. We can hate each other. I had to work with the Army and the Navy as a colonel in the Pentagon, for crying out loud. I know how to do that. But I want everybody to also think about the time. This is going to take 20 or 30 hours a week to get this. It already is. Some of us are working 40 or 50 hours a week on this beautiful thing we're going to call Ogden Valley City and then something else someday. So, people of District 5, I humbly ask for your vote.
Oh, wrong person.
Oh, but
I was
I was
gonna
just
let her do the last.
You want me to answer why Dawn is the best?
I want to do the same thing, but with a few people.
I do think I can agree, we can put on the website, what can Dawn do to help you today? It's a great idea. Can you repeat the question?
Why should we pick you? Tell us why you should pick you.
Thank you. We were doing some phone banking before the primary, and I learned a lot in talking to people. And one of the women I talked to from District 3 said, you all sound alike. You like mountains. You think water is good. You'd like more of it. And you're ethical. So it really made me think, and what unique skill or talent do I bring to the table? And I'm quite convinced my secret power is being a darn fine attorney. And an attorney who has given advice to companies, to individuals. I know what it's like to go to litigation. And frankly, I carry this Utah code around to really bring home the fact it ain't easy. And we've got a few worn pages here, but it can't be done just by AI. It takes experience, learning, and judgment. So what I hope to bring is that judgment, that way to find a way we can do things, and not just hear people say around the table, oh, the lawyers say we can't. Innovative, smart lawyering will really help this city get started out on a strong footing.
I'm Laura Warburton, and I would love to serve you. I would love to help keep this city unincorporated and to keep a small town. I think we can do it. I really do, if you make the right choice. And the right choice is important. I have so much experience and so many great relationships, county and the state. I know what I'm doing, and I can do it, I can help you. And I want to. I always have. And maybe you should question why so many people have lied about me. Maybe that's the question. Why do they have to work so hard to keep me out? That's the question. I'm Laura Warburton. I am happy to serve you in District 4. Thank you.
Thank you also for coming. I hope those questions made your brain think for a minute. that was the goal. Again, these guys put themselves right out there. And they try not to show up. Please never forget that. Ever forget that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The office, if you need to register to vote, anybody need a registration form? It's over here. Nobody? Okay, adios muchachos. Be safe driving home.
And also, we want to thank you. Thank you.